Oke, halo kelas. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll meet again today in my class. My name is Khrisma Naufal, and I will be your teacher. And today we'll meet in 20 June 2021. And today we will talking about climate change in our material of science. Okay, before we start the class, let me absent you. If I call your name, please say I'm here or present. Okay, Firdaus.
I'm here, sir.
Okay, thank you. Muhammad Rafi Prasojo.
I'm here, sir.
Okay, and then Norma Yulita.
I'm here, sir.
Okay, and last Rahma Zandi.
I'm here, sir.
Okay, okay, then I will start share the screen. Have you guys seen it? The presentation?
Not yet.
Okay, you guys can see it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Okay, I will start. Today we will talk about the climate change. And let me start about this image. What do you think about this image? Can someone give their opinion? Maybe Rafi?
It's forest fire and I don't know, sir, the cloudy eclipse, maybe.
Okay. And anyone have the different opinion?
It is disastrous, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rahma. Okay, so this is the effect of the climate change. And the first one, the first image is the forest fire because the dry season and causing a fire. And the next is the drought, and it's caused by the dry season which continued for a long time, so the plant will not grow. And the next is the tornado caused by the climate change because the differences of temperature of atmosphere. Okay, and let me start about what is climate change. And climate change is a global phenomenon of the climate transformation characterized by change in the usual climate of the planet, of the earth, regarding temperature, precipitation, wind, and the atmosphere, and that are especially caused by human activity. And the climate change is because of human. As a result of unbalancing the weather of the earth, the sustainability of the planet ecosystem is under the threat, as well as the future of humankind and the instability of the global economy. The threat, including the economic threat and the natural threat. Okay. And the next is what causes climate change. There are several factors that cause climate change, including greenhouse gas effect, global warming, ozone layer damage because of the effect of the global warming, and the forest function damage because the forest is cut out, so the oxygen in the earth will be decreased, and uncontrolled use of chlorine fluorocarbon CFC, for example, in the AC or the use of a motorcycle or the car, it will cause the carbon dioxide and the gas. And industrial exhaust gas, in the industrial chimney will be a black cloud that will harm the nature. Okay, it will this factor will cause the climate change. Okay, and the next is the example of the climate change. The first one is high rainfall. This rainfall can be normal rain, or sometimes it will be acid rain that will harm the people because it contains acid. And the dry season is prolonged. Dry season prolonged will be cause drought, or maybe cause forest fire because the high temperature of the area will make the fire in the forest. Okay, and the increase in water volume due to melting polar ice caps. The global warming in the climate change will cause the ice in the polar, in the Antarctica will melt. So the capacity of water in the earth will be increased, and it will cause the tsunami and the flood or the high temperature of water. And the occurrence of natural disaster, for example, tornado and forest fire and something like that, and reduce water resource because the climate change can make the dry season, and the dry season the water will be reduced, so we will be out of water. Okay. And the next is the effect of the climate change. The effect of the climate change will be divided into three. The first one is consequence of the climate change on the planet ecosystem, on the natural in the earth. And the next is consequence of climate change on society and on the economy. And the next is consequent climate change on the business. The first one is the consequence of climate change in the planet ecosystem or natural phenomenon. In many different countries, extreme weather events are regular and their pattern are changing. This means more storm, flood, cyclone, drought, and will take place over the next year. The disaster will come because of the extreme weather change, because of the climate change in the planet ecosystem. And the regulating capacity of the ocean will be affected by the increase of temperature because the ice in Antarctica is melting. So the volume of the water will be increased, the volume of the ocean will be increased, and it will be facing the ecological challenge such as oceanic acidification and deoxygenation. It means that the volume of the water will be increased, so the land will be falling underwater. So it will be many flood that will be happen. And the next is consequence of the change of in society and on the economy with the increase of temperature of some country, especially in equatorial region or in the line of equator, the country that located in the line of equator. The flow of the climate refugees is changing and increase, putting a pressure of the other country that hosts them, help them to strive and overcome the political barrier. Which means that there are many disaster that will be happening in that country, and disaster will affect the society and the economy of the country, it means that they will become needing the source of money for solve the disaster, and it will affect the society too, because there are a lot of people that impact by the disaster of the climate change. And the next is consequence of the climate change on business. In the context where climate is changing, companies needs to be aware of the risks such as damaged crops, the loss of infrastructure, and unexpected change of market stock. Investors that ask for sustainability report and growing expectation of the society for business to be transparent. It means that when there are many disasters or change because of the climate change, the effect of the climate change, the business will be affected because they will be needing more hand, more care to the effect of disaster. For example, the damaged crop, the loss of infrastructure, and the change in market stock because the market needed to the disaster area. So the investor will be thinking more thinking about to invest their money to that country or not. So it will be affect the on business of the country. Okay, and this is the sum of the impact or effect of the climate change. The first one is the relocation of whole town. It means that when some area is affected by the climate change, some people will move to another area. So the area will be more population, and shrinking of productivity of harvest because there are drought season that will affect the harvest of the plant, and price of the foodstuff will rise because the harvest is going down. So the price of food or anything will be rise. The extreme meteorological phenomena will cause widespread poverty because of the price of will be rise. So many people will get poverty or will be poor, and the disease will be spread due to the higher temperature, because when temperature is high, maybe we are cold or will be sick because we will not be ready for the higher temperature, and fresh water will be a short supply in some area because of the dry season. More wars to gain access to limited source because of the source is limited, because of the harvest is reduced. So the people will cause a war to gain the source from other country. This is the impact, the final impact of the climate change. It will cause sometimes a war or a conflict, and loss of capacity to work to heat because of the heat is increased, the temperature is increased, so we will be not able to work. And the cost of adapting coastal area is rising to the sea level. It means that the volume of the water is rising. Okay, and the next is how to save the earth. How to save the earth? It's because of the climate change. The first is how to save the earth. It means that you need to overcome or solve how to fight the climate change. To fight the climate change, we must reduce our greenhouse gas emission. To accomplish this, the first step is to embrace renewable energy. The energy that can be renewable easily. It means that the the oil from the fossil of the dinosaur cannot be renewable because of the fossil of the dinosaur is limited. So we must search energies that can be renewable, and eco energy can be called. We should try to create a worldwide culture that sustainability development where the energy is wisely and efficiently used. Where circular economies is a strong bet as well as durable and eco-friendly product. We must use the eco product, the renewable energy, and we must use the energy wisely so it will not be run out or it still we can use it efficiently so everyone can use it. Okay, and the next is example of report text, and the text is El Nino. Okay, can some of you read the text? Okay, maybe Norma, can you read the text?
Yes, sir. El Nino. El Nino is a climate cycle in the Pacific Ocean with a global impact on weather patterns. The cycle begins when warm water in the western tropical Pacific Ocean shifts eastward along the equator toward the coast of South America. Normally, this warm water pools near Indonesia and the Philippines. During an El Nino, the Pacific warmest surface water sits offshore of northwestern South America. Location of storms shift eastward during an El Nino because atmospheric moisture is fuel for thunderstorm. Just La Nina tropical, the normal winds of La Nina are parts collectively. El Nino and La Nina are part of an oscillation in the ocean atmosphere system called the El Nino Southern Oscillation or ENSO cycle, which also has a neutral phase.
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you, Norma. And the next is about the generic structure. The generic structure of the report text is a general classification and the identification. The general classification is the classification of the text of the topic that is generally used or commonly used to explain the topic. And the identification is the more detailed explanation of the topic. Okay. And for this generic structure, the general classification is the first paragraph. That is El Nino is a climate cycle in the Pacific Ocean with global impact on weather pattern. The cycle begins when warm water in the western tropical Pacific shifts eastward along the equator toward the coast of South America. Normally, this warm water pools near Indonesia and the Philippines. During El Nino, the Pacific warm surface water sits offshore of the northwestern South America. And the description of identification is the second paragraph until the end of paragraph. The location of tropical storm shift eastward during El Nino because atmospheric moisture is fuel of thunderstorm, and the greatest amount of evaporation take place above the ocean warmest water until the last paragraph. Collectively, El Nino and El Nina are part of oscillation of the ocean atmosphere system called El Nino Southern Oscillation or ENSO cycle, which also has literal plates. Okay. And the next is assignment. This is your assignment for next week. The first one is you work in a group and discuss about the problem caused because of the climate change. And you write the report text based on the discussion. And the next is you present the discussion in the class next week. The group, you want to divide it by yourself or by me? What do you think, class?
By ourselves, sir.
Okay, you choose by yourself. Okay, and I think that's end of our class. Okay, if you have any question, please let me know. Okay. Okay. Then this is the end of the class. Thank you for joining me in this class. Okay, I see there are some people that are joining my class. I will screenshot you. Okay. Okay, thank you. And I think that's all. Thank you for joining me in this class. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you may leave now.